Hey, guitar class. Today we're going to look at two chords, the E chord, do a quick review on that, and then move on to the G chord as well. Hopefully you have the D chord and the A chord down well. Make sure you're looking at your little chord chart, but as a quick reminder, the D, that little triangle shape facing forward. And then we go to the A chord, we keep our first finger down. It can slide backwards a little bit. And we do 2 goes over number 1 and 3 goes under. So it kind of does the splits around it. Back to D, our first finger stays down. We make the triangle. Back to A, they do the splits around it. Okay? Now when we go to the E chord, this finger stays in contact with the string but slides back. You're not pushing down, you're just leaving your finger there so you can feel it down to the first fret, and then we make that E shape. Or your second finger's in the second fret box on the 5th string, your third finger's in the second fret box on the 4th string on A and D. And then when you go up to A, this slides forward, you make the splits. Back to E, this slides back. And then when you go to D, this slides forward and you make the triangle. Okay, so I'm going to move my webcam down a bit so you can see that a little better. So here we are on the D chord. Leave your first finger down. A chord. Leave your first finger down to E. So the pattern we would want to play would be A, D, back to A, down to E. Slide that first finger forward and we're at A. Leave the first finger down, D. Do the splits around 1 for A. Slide that first finger back to E. Alright, and the next chord we're going to learn is a G chord. It's the first chord that uses our pinky, and we want to start, your first finger is not involved, so this one stays out. Your second finger goes on the 5th string in the 2nd fret box. Your third finger goes on the low E in the 3rd fret box, and your pinky goes on the high E in the 3rd fret box. Okay, so again, second finger on the 5th string on A in the 2nd fret box. The third is on the low E in the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret box, and then your 4th finger, your pinky, is all the way there. Okay, and that's on the 2nd page of your book. So how this one works is we have G, A. So what happens is your A finger now needs to find where it was before. G to D. You can see it's pretty much a full reset when you do G to D. There's nothing that sort of stays in common. But that's what our G chord looks like. Some of you may know G 1, 2, 3 like this. There's a lot of reasons to not play it that way, but to play it 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's what we're going to teach you. So there's your G chord, and that's going to be kind of a trickier feeling, but it's not too bad. So on this one, what we're going to do is we're going to play D, G. Okay. Again, whoops. There's our recording. D, G, back to D, down to A, G, D again, So that is the shape of the order of the chords around the D progression. So the A progression is what we've played to start. The A progression is, let me move this down just a little bit. A progression is A, D, A, E, A, The second progression we learn is the D progression, which uses two of the same chords we just played, D and A, but now adds G, and it is D, G, D, A. D, G, D, A. D, G, D, A. Now remember, as you're practicing this, you might want to count 4 in between, like what we do in class, to give your hands a little bit of time to adjust. So something like D, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, go to G, G, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to D, 1, 2, 3, going to A, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you shorten it to 2 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then D, 1, 2. All right, so that's your first few patterns you're working towards. A, D, A, E. Make sure you get comfortable with those. The second pattern you're working for, that's the A pattern. The second pattern you're working for is the D pattern, and that's D, G, D, A. All right, good luck and go Hounds.